Welcome to the webinar. A couple things to go through as I always introduce before we get the webinar started. We are recording this as well, so you probably just heard that we're recording this message there. And we are recording it, so we'll be sending you guys out a link later on. If you miss anything, you have to step away for a moment here. Don't worry about it. We'll send you a recording later, and it'll be published on YouTube as well. For those of you who are watching from YouTube, YouTube Live. Just be aware that we have a Q&A session at the end of the webinar, at the end of my live demo. So if you have any questions, put those in the Q&A panel in Zoom. Unfortunately, if you're watching from YouTube, we do not answer questions on the YouTube live stream. I just don't have that many hands or that many eyes. So we'll be focusing on the Zoom. So make sure you join via Zoom here, and we'll get those questions answered in the Q&A session at the end of the webinar today. And as always, we send out a survey at the end of the webinar. So if you have any feedback, anything you want to learn more about in the future, please put that in the survey and we get you a 10% discount for the content store. I'll give you a code for that. So yeah, make sure you check that out. We'll send that to you via email along with the link, of course, for the recording as well. Okay. I think we don't have much else to go through, just a couple of promotional things. So I'll start sharing my screen here. We don't need to really share sound today, I don't think, but I'll share it anyways. All right. Oh, there you can see my chat. Okay, so hopefully everyone can see my screen. Let me know in the chat if you can or can't. Right now we are having a promotion. I'm sure you guys are all aware there's been a lot of big hype around Character Creator 5 being launched in very momentarily here. We're still waiting on the launch date. But yeah, we have a offer right now where you spend $399 and you get CC5 free. So you can check this out. This is the time code main site. I just went to here just to kind of show you another new feature. If you are involved in motion capture at all, time code is a new feature that we launched a couple months ago now. So make sure you check that out. Very important, obviously, for motion capture artists to get their hands on time code features. So you can check that out, but I'll take a look here at the CC5 stuff. So a lot of new features coming out in CC5. You can ask me more about this stuff later. But we have, you can go through this page on your own, basically. I'll just throw this in the chat just so everyone has it. I know it's easy to find, but yeah, we'll just throw it in there. Hello, Alberto. Hello, everyone. Oops. Actually, I pushed 4 there. There we go. Okie dokes. That's the my little blurb for CC4, CC5. Again, spend 399 bucks anywhere and get the free upgrade in the software store or the content store. Pretty cool. So now's the time to really pick up content if you're interested in getting some extra content. I'll show you a little bit of cool stuff later on as we go through our webinar. And as always, we have our 60% discount for any student or teacher. So make sure you check out our Learning Center here as well. I'll throw this in the chat and get your 60% discount. And as well, if you are a teacher, you get a free 3-month free semester, fully functional free semester trial. You can test out with your students or whoever you need and take a look at if it works with your workflow. I'll throw this in the chat as well. There we go. Okay, that's pretty much it. Not too much promotional stuff going on recently. We do have a webinar coming up next week for a cartoon animator as well. If you're interested in that, make sure you check back on our webinar page. But this is the outline for today's webinar. So if you signed up for this webinar, you've probably already gone through it. So we're going to just basically go through Character Creator. You can sync cameras and lighting. We're not going to do too much about the cameras and lighting, but we'll do it at the very end. Character animation in iClone, a little bit of that, and rendering and refinement in Blender. And we'll also do some Rigify. Rigify is the Blender rig that allows you to animate your character in Blender, and it's one-click feature with data link, which is really cool. All right, I think that about covers it. I'm going to get right into the nitty-gritty here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a character. We'll create a character, just bring one in from our templates here. And I'm going to import her into Blender, and then we're going to do some morphing in Blender, some sculpting, a little bit of sculpting, and then bring it back into Character Creator. So this is a very common workflow. Like personally, I use this quite often. And I'm going to use one of our base characters here under the characters pack. Okay. And I'm going to use this tune neutral female character. Okay. And generally, if you want to start with, if you're working with a more stylized, if you want to get generate a more stylized character type, you generally want to start with these neutral tune characters. Again, we have the other bases as well, like CC3 Caleb, base male, et cetera, et cetera. We have all these other base characters here. If you want to, if you're working with a more realistic type character, you want to use those bases instead. But I'm going to be working with a stylized character, which is taking a while to load for some reason. But there we go. And there's your shaders. Okay, cool. So we'll just start off with this basic character here. And the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to use Blender Data Link to bring the your character back from Blender back and forth into Character Creator for morphs here. Okay, so under plugins, Blender Pipeline, you can find the we are in Character Creator. Okay, you can find all the stuff here. The Data Link is the most important one. This is super important. You can go to settings here as well. When you first get this installed, make sure you have your data link folder set up here and your Blender executable file. Obviously, you want to have that there so it launches Blender in the correct place. And all these other options here, they're kind of arbitrary to be honest. But you do want to use. I generally. You can choose whether or not to delete hidden faces. I tend to keep it off just because you can do it later as well. And big textures, I don't have that normally set up here. So, but anyways, yeah. Once we have that all set up, then we can actually launch Data Link and Blender Pipeline Data Link here. And I normally just dock it over here. Okay, let's get my face out of the way here. Where should I put it? Down here, maybe. Okay, and also very important to be aware of is you need to make sure that your versions are harmonized between Character Creator and Blender. So I'm going to launch Blender right off the bat here. And right now I'm using 4.4.1. Okay. So this is I believe it's the latest version. And I'm just going to delete my light and camera and stuff. You want to make sure you go up to Edit and Preferences. And in your add-ons, you'll find the CC/IC tools. And we'll throw this down here a little bit, twirl it down. And again, you can see we're using version 2.2.5, and that is compatible with the 2.2.4 version that's actually shown in Character Creator. You can see it says at the top here, yeah, Data Link 2.2.4. So the number is a bit different, but they work just fine. There is also a 2.3 update for the Blender Data Link as well, but I don't think Character Creator hasn't updated to that level yet. So we'll wait for that in the next update here. But yeah, so right now I'm using 2.2.4, which is technically the second latest version available. Okay, so make sure this is up here. You can always go down. You can update it or you can uninstall it. Generally, you don't want to do that. But again, you have the similar options here. Rendering, we're going to be using Eevee for rendering. It doesn't really matter. You can use, there's also settings where you can use cycles as well. I'll show you that later. So down here, you want to make sure Rigify is also enabled. This is a separate, obviously, plugin add-on. But make sure that's also enabled. Otherwise, the Rigify won't appear in your iClone Character Creator 3 live link, data link panel. And you can also check for live updates down here as well. So check for newest updates. You can auto check and et cetera, et cetera. Okay, but you can see here that I'm just using 2.24 again. Okay, so like I mentioned before, the first workflow we're going to do is morphing. I'm just talking too much here. We got to get through this. So once you have your character selected, go into your scene manager and select your character here. You will see that we have the option here. Well, we should have the option to start server. Okay. Yeah, it's not enabled because it's not start server yet. So start your server first, okay, and then go over into Blender, into your preferences. Rather, you can actually just press the N hotkey. Once it's all installed, press the N hotkey to bring it up here, and you'll see CCIC link, okay, and just connect it. Boom, linked. Everything's connected. We're looking good. We're fine to go. Now all of these items here are enabled. And they're all different. They're all certain. They're all used for basic certain different workflows. The one we're going to use right now is update morph. Okay, or send morph rather, because we're just going to basically create a custom morph in Blender and bring it back in. There's other things, update slash replace is for kind of changes to the character's skin or stuff like that. I'll talk more about these later on. I won't explain them all right now, but right now we're just going to send our morph to Blender. Okay, so click on send morph and it'll send your character right over to Blender. It'll send the morph actually. It'll send your character's mesh rather to Blender. It's not going to have any materials. Okay. So you can send avatar and it'll send the materials and everything too. But that's kind of, it takes longer to load and we don't really want to waste time doing that stuff. Okay. So let's take a look at, generally when you're doing like morph stuff like this, I tend to like to use orthographic views. So you can click on these little gizmos up here and change your character's perspective there. Let's just do a couple simple things. What I'm going to do is just kind of make her sort of more stylized, more sort of like an animal type character, like maybe a hybrid human slash cat type character. Um, so of course, if you're doing sculpting in Blender, just go over to sculpting here, and we got to do that whole thing again, the perspectives. There we go. Okay, and I'm just going to go up to her head, and we're on the x-axis here. So make sure everything is symmetrical up here, this button here, and press X on the x-axis. And let's see, what am I going to do here? Let's just go ahead and maybe, oops, not brush. Let's see, maybe, what should we do? We can grab. Okay, I'm just going to grab her ears or elastic grab, maybe elastic grab. Okay, we can grab her ears, make them more cat-like here. That's going to be, of course, on both sides like that. Let's maybe take the nose, make it a bit more kind of up, more like a cat nose maybe. And yeah, let's make the brush size a little smaller. Get a bit more pointiness on the ears there. Okay, we'll pretend those are cat ears. Okay, and maybe bring the nose up slightly a bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to go to my front here, or back rather, and we'll stretch out the ears a bit more. Very important to note when you are doing the sculpting in Blender, do not change the topology, as in the poly count, because if you do that, data link won't work because it's not gonna recognize it once you change the number of poly count on your character. So just do the regular sculpting like this. Don't modify the topology, like the number of polygons on your character. Just do this. It's like stretch it out. This is the only way you can do the morphs properly. So just be aware of that. Okay, and maybe for this one, let's try, oh, I don't know, flatten. Maybe flatten her face a little bit. Let's try a bigger brush. Not sure if that's working too well. But we can maybe, let's see. Again, I'm terrible at, I'm using a mouse here, and I'm also terrible at modeling in Blender, so we can maybe inflate her cheeks a little bit. Let's see, there's a bigger radius. Let's see what it looks like on a different angle there. Not working too well. Which is the one I used? There was the one I used before. It was pretty cool. Plateau maybe. Again, don't modify the mouth area too much. Ooh, that's not good. Because when your character is smiling and the facial expressions later on, it's not going to look as good. So let's just gonna work. Okay, we're making her a bit cuter, a bit more like elf-like, I guess. I want to kind of bring the cheeks out a bit more. Oh, let's just do a pull for that. It's just, yeah, elastic grab will be fine. There we go. Ah, there we go. Now I can widen the face. That's a bit better. Okay. something like that. I just want to have more of a cat face, you know? Okay, cool. Even though those ears maybe look more like mouse ears. And then of course, we can do the body as well. So if we go down to the body, we can maybe we can extend the breasts a little bit. Let's make the brush a bit smaller here. You know, a bit more bosomy, I guess. Okay. Up to you. Totally your preference, whatever you want to have your character look like. All right. All right. I think that looks okay. All right. We'll just work with this. Okay. So now once you're done with your sculpting in Blender, again, you can press the N hotkey and go to your CC data link right here and simply click on Go CC. Okay. And when you click on that in Character Creator, you'll see this item come up. So this is your custom morph now. So you can call it whatever you want. Let's call it Catwoman, maybe. Okay, whatever. And you want to choose category. You can choose the body. You can choose the head. The body will cover both the head and the body. But if you choose only head, it's only going to do the head morphs that you created. So just be aware of that. So I normally just choose body. Again, eyes and teeth, and you can all do the other ones as well. But yeah, Blender, body, and then choose the folder. It's going to be in custom/Blender, morph range 0 to 100. And your source morph is your current morph. Okay, make sure it's that one that you have currently on your character right now. And auto apply adjust bones. You want to make sure you do all that stuff and create slider. All right, and then we're going to go into our morph sliders and show okay, so there's the edits we made. You can see the cheeks are a bit wider, a bit more cartoon-like, a bit more stylized. We've got the nice kind of elf ears, and the chest is a bit larger as well. Okay, so that's all fun and games. You can go to your modify panel now and the morphs tab here. And here you can see Catwoman under body. So the body category, under custom, under Blender. We now have this Catwoman slider. Okay, and you can take it off, take it up. Okay, there you go. And of course, naturally, you can customize that. You can combine it with other ones as well. So if I wanted to, for example, the cheeks hollow, wouldn't want to do that because we basically want the opposite. Bone scale, we can increase the bone scale for the cheeks as well. So again, you can combine it with other morph sliders as well. So you're not limited to the ones you create. You can do the other ones on top of that. So that's really cool. That's the easiest, basically one of the easiest ways to customize your characters in Character Creator. Now, of course, you can use the rudimentary tools that Character Creator offers as well. Under here, you can go to your Edit Mesh tool. You can adjust the proportions and the springs. We'll talk about springs a little bit later on. But yeah, if I want to edit my mesh, you can click on Edit Mesh here. And, we have compared to Blender, these tools are fairly rudimentary. So you go to Sculpt here, and, you can always, I don't know, smooth out the shoulders. That's not working too well. Intensity, radius. There you go. As you can see, I modified the shoulders a little bit. I don't think I did symmetrical, so it's probably a bad idea. Let's undo those two edits we made. You want to mirror X. So that'll be the same as symmetrical in Blender there. And you can do all the editing you want. So this is just sculpting. This one is brush type. There's only 4 brush types here. So there's push, there's pull, there's smooth, and there's show mesh brush. Okay. But again, I won't do that in Character Creator because Blender is more optimized for that sort of thing. So that's kind of why I showed you that workflow, because it's a lot better to use that Blender workflow, to be honest. Okay, so let's take a look at our character and customize the character now. So in Character Creator, I'm going to customize the character just very, very rudimentarily. Is that a word? I don't know. Very simply customize my character. We'll throw on some just basic clothing. I found some cool clothing packs actually from, if I right click on this and I go to content info, this is from developer CG Artifacts. Okay, and you can click on them and find them in the the content store. And so you can see Artifacts, CG Artifacts has some pretty kind of nice stylized characters. I really like these ones, to be honest. They're quite well done. So check these out if you want if you have time. I can throw this in the chat as well in case anyone wants to take a look at it while I'm blabbering on. Where's my chat window? There we go. All right, so we'll close it down for now. So yeah, it's just some clothing on this character, actor. It comes with hair, so custom hair as well. We can throw in some couple of hair items here. So there's two different hair meshes. I don't believe this hair is soft cloth physics enabled, but which means it's not going to flow back and forth. That's okay. Cloth, we'll just throw on the shirt. I found this kind of pack pretty cool. Whoops. And get some pants on. Coat. So it's kind of like a streetwear type character. And I forget what the others was here. Also necklace and some socks. No, we don't need socks. We can just look like this. All right. I think she looks pretty cool. Right on. Okay, so with our stretched breast, you can see there we have that issue with the jacket a little bit. But what we can do is we can actually take that jacket and customize it. Let's edit that mesh. Maybe if we smooth it out, we don't have to take it into Blender, but sculpt, maybe smooth it. See if this works. It works okay. Let's bring it out a bit more. So now I'm customizing the jacket mesh, obviously not the characters mesh. Okay. And this is obviously I did never encountered this. I just noticed it because I guess the breasts went a little too extreme, but you may have to do edits like this. And if you can also do it in Blender as well. So you can do the sculpting. You can send the jacket itself to Blender. So if I go to data link and I have the jacket selected, let's make sure we're not in edit mesh mode here. I have the jacket selected. I can just send morph. We don't need this morph anymore in Blender. We can actually just do a new project, or we can just delete the character. It's just the morph there. So if we send the jacket to Blender, you can a little customize in there as well. Jacket's taking longer than the character to send over. Um, Anyways, once this is done, I'll send the entire avatar over. So that'll be the avatar with the rig and everything over to Blender, and I'll do some kind of updating. Say I want to change the skin color, or I want to change, some of the accessories or anything like that. Oh, the thing just crashed Blender. What a day! Oh, no, no, it's still there. Oh, it sent the character. Okay. Anyways, I'll show you the whole workflow just to send the character, the avatar to Blender. So we're like, hey, we have this cool character in Character Creator. Let's throw her into Blender, and we'll see how things go. I'm going to give her a little bit of a motion here as well. Just maybe let's do idle. Okay, so these are just the built-in motions with Character Creator. This is just really basic. You can see her jacket's a little too wide, so her arms are cutting through the mesh, but we won't worry about that too much right now. That can always be fixed easily later. And so we'll just send the avatar. And when you send avatar, it's going to send the motion and everything into Blender. So just be aware of that. Um, Live sequence, I don't normally use live sequence, but that's kind of basically, it kind of connects the animation directly from iClone into Blender. What I like to do, and this is personal preference, I like to complete the animations in iClone and then send them to Blender. And if I need to update them, then I'll just send the motion over again, as opposed to doing the live sequence thing. But again, that's like personal preference, like I said. So that workflow is available very easily. So here's our character in Blender. We'll change the shading mode here so we can actually see her. There we go. Okay, cool. And you know, um, that's basically it. You can play back, and here's her blinking. And again, we don't have the lighting or anything optimized in Blender yet. So to do that, there's actually a really easy way to do that. To go over here to the CC Create, or CC Pipeline rather, CCIC Pipeline, and under Scene Tools, you'll find a number of scene lighting presets. So if you click on like Studio One, for example, it'll add a little bit of lighting into your scene here. Okay, so you can see we have a couple lights. There's an outdoor lighting template here. CC3. Dawn. This Dawn one normally works pretty well. Looks okay in this case. Nostalgia. But again, these are all really cool lighting presets. I like this. Maybe the studio one looks pretty good. Or this neon one, since she's kind of like a street stylized character there. And of course, you can always go into the lights and change those as well in Blender. So lots of um, things you can do here. When it comes to uh, Blender, I don't tend to modify. Let me just select the individual light here. There we go. I'm like, why aren't the light properties coming up? There you go. So you can, change the individual lights here as well using those presets. So this one's maybe too purple. Let's make it more blue, or let's make it more green. We can make it more nightclubby. I don't know, something like this, maybe a bit more normal. Okay, and there's power, of course, shape and size and all that fun stuff. That's lighting in Blender. We won't get too much into that right now, but yeah. So pretty cool stuff. There's your character. And now we can go to animation. We can play that back and edit the animation. We'll actually do the animation editing later, but yeah, let's just go back to layout mode here for now. And back into our shading. And you can see there, we have all the editing. Okay, so our characters in Blender, and say we're working on a project in Blender. We're like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool, but I want to just maybe change a couple things on this character. Like I want to change her skin color. I want to change her shirt a little bit. So back in Character Creator, then what you'll do is, if I want to change her skin color, I can do a couple quick things like go over to skin, give her like darker skin. This, I think this is the same. Oops, product page. This may be the same developer. Nope, this is a character from Reillusion. Okay, cool. So Nadine, she has a skin template we can just throw on. So you can see now she's a bit darker, a little bit, quite a bit darker. And then if you want, you can, select the character, go to your materials, and let's move my face out of the way here. Um, Select something like your character's body, skin, head material. And this character uses a digital human shader, which means we can go down into our shader settings, and there's various properties like skin color. We can activate skin color, blend map, color adjustment, activate that. We increase the illumination slightly. And notice when we do this, it's also illuminating other parts of the body as well. So, okay, so when you do this for the skin, it's going to do all the skin together. So like the body and the face and everything. We can add some more red or less red, yellow. So there's various other things you can do to like tweak the skin and everything like that. We can adjust the eye color. We can adjust all sorts of fun stuff. The hair color as well. So for the hair color, it's a bit different. We have just a base color map. You can see this just uses a PBR shader, so it's a bit different. We don't have those digital human shader options. So for this one, you just go to your character's color right here, maybe change the hue, something a bit more greenish. Okay, and then we have to use this section as well, or adjust this section here. And there we go. Try and make it match a little bit better. Okay, we'll work with that. Anyways, okay, so we changed, her skin color. We can go to the shirt as well. Oh, I want a like more red shirt or something. There we go. Fluorescent green. Okay, anyway, so now we have our character all modified, and in Blender, what we can do is we can just go ahead and update replace. So there's our character and update replace here. Make sure the character is selected. And you'll get all that stuff. The materials and everything will update in Blender. So, I mean, you can obviously do that yourself in Blender as well. Oh, you had to have the character selected. Normally it pops up with a message that says, are you sure that you want to update this? But we should be able to have everything updated in Blender. And if not, just delete the character and resend the avatar. There you go. Okay, so there's our new hair color and everything like that all set up. Okay, cool. So that's how you update really quickly, in Blender. I'm not really a fan of that hair color, to be honest, but we'll work with it. And maybe I'll just do a quick little change of the lighting here. Let's use our CC3 one. See, with a different color, with a different skin color, you're going to have different challenges when it comes to lighting for sure. So just be aware of that before you willy-nilly go and modify things in Blender. Okay, so there's our character in Blender. You can use all those different presets, and that's the updating of the clothing, the colors of the skin. So when you click on that update, this one here, it updates the shaders for the skin. It updates all the colors for the body and hair and everything like that as well. Okay, now you can send motions as well over. What should we do first here? Yeah, we can talk about sending motions, but first I'm going to add another element to our character here, and that element is a tail. Okay, so I'm going to use a custom mesh and show you how to add a tail to the character, and we're going to add some armature to the character, or to the tail rather, in Blender, so we can assign spring bones to it in Character Creator, and that allows your character to have like kind of a bouncy, springy tail. Okay. So in Blender, let's just go ahead and start a new project since we're going to create a completely new mesh. Let's just delete all our basic stuff here. And I have this, I believe, where did I save it? On the desktop. We have a production resources. Yeah, cattail here. There we go. So I got a cattail OBJ. It's a very simple OBJ mesh just from Sketchfab. And import scale 1. Okay, we're good to go. So here we have a nice little cattail. I mean, this is a mesh easy just to create in a couple seconds anyways, but um and you can see it pretty cool. But it has no armature, so it has no way to assign spring bones to it. Um, so what you want to do here is go over into edit mode, and we don't want to do object mode first, and add, and we want to add armature and a single bone. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Okay, so that bone's pretty big. We can rotate it with the R hotkey. We can scale it with the S hotkey here. Let's maybe rotate it a bit more. Let's make sure that we can see it. Let's get zoom out of the way here. In front of our mesh here. And then in edit mode, we can extend it. So in edit mode, we can press E and extend the armature to another segment of bone, and then E again, and another one down the length of the tail. Okay, so we have our tail here. Again, when you do this, do it in orthographic view, which is like what I'm in right now, just 90 degrees. Otherwise, the armature may actually go outside of the mesh, and it's annoying to fix. You just have to move it a little bit. But if you do it orthographic like this, it just generally goes right in the middle of the mesh. So you're good. All right, so we basically that's it. We have this nice kind of tail that we created. Now we have bones in the tail we can assign spring bones to back in Character Creator. Various things you can do here. So we also want to make sure that we skin the bones. We properly paint the skin weights so that the mesh of the tail moves along properly with the bones. Now to do this, let's just go back into this mode here, and we press Control P, I believe. Oh, no, we have to be in object mode. Oh, press A for A and then Control P. Yeah. Okay, so A to select all, okay, and then Control P. And then under here, armature deform, you want to select with automatic weights, okay? So again, Control P, and that basically assigns everything here. So now it's together. The mesh is weighted to the bones here, and you're good to go. Now you can always, if you want to do some customized editing here, you can go into make sure that you select the armature here, the cattail, and go into paint, weight paint here. Okay. And when you select weight paint, you can see here we have this last bone selected. The red area is basically how much influence that bone has over that particular part of the mesh. So if it's very strong or it's very red, that means that bone is totally going to control that part of the mesh. And as it gets bluer, that means has less control over that part of the mesh. Hopefully that's clear. But yeah, you can just go down here into the vertex groups and you can choose the different bones. And you can see here that the different bones are influencing different parts of the mesh here. So, for example, if I wanted this top bone to influence more, I can just keep on drawing here, and it'll influence more of the mesh here. All right, I'm going to Control Z that because we don't want to do that. I just wanted to show you if you want to do your custom weight painting, that's how you do it. I hate painting weights, to be honest. It's so much back and forth, and I hate it. So automatic weights. It's not going to look ideal, of course. You're going to want to do a bit more customization for your weight painting as opposed to this automatic stuff. But that's how you do it anyways. Okay, so we'll just go back into object mode here and let's select all and then export. Okay, so A and then export. We'll export this as an FBX. It can be OBJ as well too. It doesn't matter. Let's call it cat tail. Okay, cattail. I'm not creative with my naming. Uh, and then export FBX to my desktop there. Okay, so now if you want to assign this to your character, generally when you assign an accessory to your character, you can go up here to create. I'm just gonna get rid of this jacket because this jacket's in the way and it kind of messed up the mesh anyways. Yeah, it looks cool enough. Not very good color coordination there, Kai, but yeah, we'll work with this. Hey, she's an independent spirit. Okay, so like I was saying, when you want to have an accessory onto your character, generally the way you create an accessory, you have to create an accessory right here. Okay. Now, the way I'm going to do it, because if you bring in your tail as an accessory that way, it's not going to notify, it's not going to recognize the armature, so the bones, and we're not going to be able to assign spring bones to it. I can go through that process, but I'll save some time and just bring it in the way that I would normally bring it. Um, Desktop, what is it called? Cattail, I think, right? So let's just click and drag this into our scene here and go to, we need to make sure it's a prop first. Okay. So prop and just convert all, this doesn't matter. So it's animation stuff. And it should be, oh, there we go. Okay. So it assigns right to the scene root, and then we can move it up to the hip area. You can also scale it as well if you want, a bit smaller or larger, whatever. I'm not sure where tails are supposed to be placed on characters. When you're doing this to a character, you generally want to put it in like an A pose or a T pose as well. So let's just assign the character to a different pose. Okay, so we can get the tail, make sure it's in the middle there. Okay, cool. I think that works. And of course, you can change the color of this tail and everything as well if you want. You need to assign it a base color, but um, yeah. We won't do that right now. We won't worry about the colors and stuff right now. You can change the diffuse color. And that's an easy way to do it. Okay, if you wanted a black tail. Again, this is just really kind of crappy. Maybe try and match it with her skin. No, this, I don't know. Nice yellow. Well, I canceled it anyways. All right, but we're just we're gonna keep it white for now. Okay, so to assigning the character the bones, spring bones. So we want to make sure this is attached to our character first, so we should be able to right click it. If not, go up to our attributes and click on attach to, pick parent, and pick our character's hip. Okay, so it just assigned to the thigh twist bone. So we can just go up here into this ellipses and make sure it's assigned to our character's hip. Okay, and now we have a tail with no bounce, but if we select our character, not our tail, we can choose female, we could choose female walk. Okay, so our character will now walk like this, and you can see no bounce to the tail, but it's attached. All right, cool, good enough. So what we need to do now is we need to select our tail, go up into the edit spring right here. Okay, and then with our bone manager open, let's make sure that's open over here. You can see there's our bone armature. Okay, so bone right here. Let me just zoom in on the tail here. Hopefully you can see those white bones on the white mesh, so apologies for that. But there's that bone. Here's this bone right here. And you simply go ahead and click on active and click on rotate. Generally, that's the one you want to have a bit of a better chance with. The base bone, I don't normally, like this first bone, I don't normally activate spring bones for that because that's kind of the support for the bones. But the second one I do, and you can see the automatic weighting is a little bit chintzy, but work with that. And generally, the higher up the tail you want to have more hardness. So maybe like a hardness of 5. And you can see it modifies that. It changes like the effect. Okay, so just be aware of that as well. So maybe we'll just keep this at a hardness of 4. Next bone, select active, and maybe hardness of 4 as well. No, I'll do 3. And then this one here, activate, hardness of 3 as well. Maybe the last one will do, excuse me, a hardness of 2. So make sure they're all rotate as well. Not translate. All right, I think we're good to go. And then you can select your bone group down here under group settings, select the bone group, and you can change the attributes here as well. So you can give the tail more mass. You can see if we give it more mass, it's more weighted down further like this. Okay, and the strength of the bounce, you can adjust that as well. You can have less bounciness. Okay, so if we just test this out real quick, play back. There you go. And see the tails bouncing around. And you can see it's obviously it's very kinky because our bone weighting was like very, very basic. Again, like I mentioned, you'll want to smooth out your bone weighting. But this looks not bad, to be honest, for something that took us 30 seconds in a control P. Okay, so you can increase the mass there. If you decrease the mass, it's more kind of lilty and like this. Okay, so it's cool. That's how you can basically kind of create your quick tail and assign it to your character in Character Creator from Blender. All right, cool. So what we're going to do next is we're going to do a bit of animation back and forth, and I'll show you. I'll end off with excuse me. I'll end off with showing you how to rigify and how to modify the motions back and forth, and then we'll get to the Q&A. All right. So animations. All right. Let's open up iClone for animations. All right. Oh, by the way, if you want to find out the best way to install this in your Reillusion hub, you'll find this Blender pipeline right here, and you'll find a Blender auto setup as well. So Blender pipeline is the data link. If you just click on installed, it'll install that. And for the Blender auto setup, you can go to product home. We can take a quick look at this. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I'll throw the link in the chat for you guys here, just so you have it and you can explore it on your own time. Where's my chat? There we go. Someone mentions, what about creating a custom character and exporting it for sale on the store? Yeah, absolutely. That's what a lot of people do. Make some good money doing it too. So if you're if you have any sort of expertise in character modeling or anything like that, we encourage you to submit your characters to the content store, the marketplace as well. And yeah. So this is the auto setup page. Let me get my chat window out of the way. So this is the page that you'll want to have. It'll basically kind of show you everything that I'm showing you right now. So you can see that I'm not going to do too much about scene and prop. I wanted to focus more on character, the poses back and forth. We did the morphing and the sculpting. We just did that. We did the character materials update, and we're going to do some animation stuff now and then some Rigify. All right, so you can go through this on your own time. There's also tutorials on the Learning Center about basically getting your cloth and physics all transferred over, so you can simulate your cloth physics in either Blender or in iClone. which is really cool. I won't do that in this webinar, but we have tutorials on that, and I can show you those tutorials later. Because physics can be a little bit similar to something like weight painting, where it takes a lot of back and forth to get the proper results. Yeah, check out this page on your own time. Really good. There's the auto setup tool right there. So, and free download up here. Also wanted to go to Actor Core as well, in case those of you aren't aware, we have under purchase, we have an Actor Core website as well. Since we're talking about the animation now, Actor Core contains an enormous library of motions. So if you go, you can select actors here. A lot of these actors on the Actor Core site are used for like kind of like NPC type characters or more for corporate use. Most of them are not used for like high detailed, up close, like super realistic rendering, like a metahuman, for example. They're generally used for a lot of kind of more commercial purposes, and you can click on actor and you can see them. They're very low resource, so you can have like hundreds of them in your scene. So I would check this out on your own time if you're not familiar with Actor Core. But motions as well. You know, if you want to pick up some quick motions, you can go to motions here. Now there's motion content packs, like full content packs you can see like for like 99 bucks. And then there's like, you know, simple like bicycling motions for like $2. So you can purchase these individually as well, $1.50. There's a lot of free ones as well. So just be sure to, you know, check back. There's always an update on the free ones. So if you click on free right here, you can see this one's pretty cool. He's running and like boom, just because like blown up or something. And here's an aerobic dance. You know, and if you want to like download the aerobic dance, click on it. Am I logged in? Oh, nope, I'm not logged in. So I won't log in right now, but you can just, you know, add to cart and here, you can get that kind of cool aerobic dance there. Anyways, enough about Actor Core. Let's go back into iClone and let's just choose a random motion. Content Manager. Let's go back. Move my face over here. Animation. Oh, I don't know. Let's choose a simple one. Um, Maybe something like a parkour one. Those are pretty far from simple, but what's a cool parkour one? Maybe this parkour side flip. Oh, we have the tail selected right now. Make sure the character is selected, not the tail. Sometimes you have to select it in the scene manager. And here we go. Did I start off iClone in the background? Nope, I got distracted. Let's do that. All right, there. You can also apply animations in Character Creator, but iClone is generally where you want to do the animation editing. So we have 10 minutes to do that. So here's a pretty cool like parkour motion. Ugh. And you can see the tail moves along nicely with the character. Let's try one maybe where she's spinning a bit more. Oh, this one looks pretty cool. So in this one, the tail will be spinning around like. All right, there you go. You can see the spring effects on the tail a bit more. It could maybe be a bit more weighted, but you know, there you go. And naturally with your characters, you can do the facial animation as well. So if I wanted to apply a motion facial animation to my character, just click on Edit Facial. Again, iClone is much better for this, but let's just apply maybe a simple happy expression. She looks really happy there. She looks a little bit stoned, to be honest, but can maybe make her even more stoned. Yeah, she's a Rasta now. Anyways, you can click all this stuff and just like have your character doing stoned parkour for one reason or the other. Maybe raising the brows a little bit. Again, you can see I'm just quickly going back into modify and muscles. These are three different ways to kind of just keyframe your character's expressions. But there you go. She's like, oh yeah, I got this parkour stuff down. All right. Anyways, when you apply that facial animation, it erases your body animation. I forgot to tell you about that in Character Creator. But okay, let's apply let's just take our character into iClone so we can do some more animation stuff. The easiest way to do that from Character Creator is just go up here and click on iClone, send to iClone. Okay. It'll send your character into iClone. There we go. The same wacky tobacco look on her face. Okay, so now we can close down character creator. We're not going to use character creator anymore, I don't believe. Are we? No, we don't need to. No, I'm almost certain. Okay. If we do, I'll open it up again later. But we have those same parkour motions here in iClone as well. Um, which one did I have? The one where she spun around? There's so many of them. Oh, this one diving's pretty cool too. Whoa, diving with the tail is pretty cool. Okay, and yeah, we can have fun, modifying that. You see her face is um, okay, and I'll send this to Blender the way it is right now. Let's go ahead and start a new project because I do want to do some Rigify editing to end off the today's webinar. So let's just delete all this stuff. And so iClone has the same plugin. So up here, plugins, Blender Pipeline, and Data Link, right? And again, I normally just dock it over here. Okay, so start server in iClone, and then in Blender, make sure we have that also linked up. Okay, I think we're good. So now in iClone, we can select our character, and we can do the live sequence. Again, I don't want to do that right now, but you can send the live sequence, and you can do the live editing back and forth with iClone and Blender. But I'll just go ahead and send the avatar because this will actually send the motion along with it. And I forgot to mention as well, if you have other things like you have lighting, different backgrounds in your scene, you can select those and you can send them all at once as well. I did forget to show how to do that. So say, for example, I had a let's create, or we don't need to create a light. We can just use take all our lights off here. And yeah, maybe just this one side light. So if you select the side light and click on the tune neutral, notice that now this will change from send avatar to send all. So if you have like, backgrounds in your scene, again, like a building in the background or different lights or different cameras or something like that, you can send that all, okay? And you can also sync the lights here as well. I'll talk a little bit about that later. Actually, let's just do a really quick, well, let's do the animation first, and then we'll do the lighting. So here we go, animation, and let's move, zoom out of the way here. Let's give ourselves some better lighting. Outdoor. Okay, so here's our animation. You can see the tail, the spring bones for the tail move along with it as well. Cool. Okay. So that tail spring effect has transferred over as well. It's a pretty cool looking jump. Anyways, okay. So to modify that animation, if we wanted to do that in iClone, we could just go ahead and if you wanted to jump higher, for example, let's say this jump is, I'm going to control G to turn on the grid so we can actually see the ground here. So jumping like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and in my modify tools with my character only selected. Let's go to animation. Let's go to edit motion layer. And this is going to be a very simple motion, simple edit. Set key. Let's go to where she at here at the height of her jump. And let's bring her up. Okay. This might not look the best, but we're just going to slightly increase the height of the jump. And I'm doing that by just dragging the hip bone up. Okay. So it kind of just drags her up manually. And then she probably lands about here. So here we want to reset. Okay. And reset will just take it back to its normal position. So what we're going to have now here is we're going to have a higher jump. Boing. Okay. Obviously not the best, but it's too jerky. We'd probably want to modify that a bit more, but and between the keyframes. Yeah. The timing is not ideal. You probably want to, do some easing in and out of the transition curves. I didn't mean to get into this, but hopefully this looks a little bit better. Yeah, okay. See if that works. It looks a little bit better, I guess. And this one will ease out. Okay. Anyways, terrible edit, but the functionality is what I want to show you. So, um, with that character selected, then you can go up here to back to your data link, and let's go to a point where she's at the height of her jump here. So here, okay, somewhere like here. And then in iClone, we're going to send motion. Okay. Generally what you want to do here is you want to make sure that you're at the last frame. And I go ahead and click on this button here, which sets end frame of my project. You can see the little green triangle moves over here. So this is the motion that it's sending over. It's not going to send over the entire timeline. That'll save you a little bit of time. So just go ahead and click on send motion, and that'll update the motion. And then I'll do one with Rigify, and then we'll end off the webinar. So now you can see that awkward higher jump, okay, where it kind of like, the timing was not correct, but so now it's updated that motion to Blender. So now she jumps higher, okay, and that's just how you update motions by doing a quick edit in iClone. I personally find doing the motion editing in iClone to be a lot easier, probably because I have more experience with it, but there you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and maybe apply something a bit more natural looking to the character. Let's delete that motion and something like, so we can do some quick Rigify modification here. So I'm just going to choose a motion, animation. Let's go to that first. Maybe just something simple, like let's do a walk, right? A quick, simple walk. That always works. Okay, so just walking, 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 walking. Okay, cool. Christopher Walken. Um, you don't have to have it to be too long. However long that walk is, I don't know. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and update that motion now. So we'll just send the motion. Now all these motions will be shown in Blender. I'll show you where in just a moment here. So now we have the walk, and this is a stationary walk, so she's not moving anywhere. Okay, if we go to our, let's actually set up our character with the Rigify rig first. So to do that, go over here to CC pipeline, or rather, is it create? Link. So here's all the motions we sent over, by the way. Okay, so you can basically click on all these different motions and you can apply them from here as well. So just be aware of that. Creation, we're going to, oh, invalid character. Oh, interesting. That is an interesting for character. Oh no, okay. Sorry, we go to CC pipeline and we can click Rigify here. I'm not sure why it said invalid character on the other one, but okay, so here's your motion sets again. Yeah, go to the CC pipeline, okay, if you're using data link, and then Rigify is right here. Your motion sets are all right here. Okay, so you can apply these different motion sets. So the other ones that I applied earlier, like the jump, that parkour one, it's also here. So you can just send them over, send them over, send them over, and they'll be in your motion sets, which is really cool, really convenient. But let's click on Rigify, so we'll get our character all Rigify and set up with that. And then I'll do a quick animation edit, and we can go to the Q&A because we're out of time here. So, and Rigify generally takes a few seconds, almost a minute maybe. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to show you there. There you go. You can see it's all set up already. Really cool. So we have all the Rigify stuff set up. We can go to animation, And you can see here, there's our animation. And with Rigify, of course, you can select different parts of the body. You can stretch them. So this is something you can't do in iClone. In terms of animation with Rigify, you can actually stretch the body. Not sure why you'd want to do that in this case, but oops, where'd she go? Where are we? Uh, oh, we have the scaling on. What the heck happened here? I think I accidentally pressed something. Oh, great. Okay. Anyways, we may be able to do this in layout mode. Let's just go to our, yeah. So if I wanted to, which one my character went in animation mode. Oh, there we go. Okay. I zoomed in too much, not out too much. All right. Anyways, let's get our shading proper so we can see it in animation editing mode here. Say for example, we wanted our character to be looking back and forth while she's walking. Okay. So here we can, select the eyes, move them over here, and then, move them over there. But we need to select them and then also key them as well. Here's our eyes. Let's delete these frames. Here, oops, we'll have them looking over here. And I to insert our keyframe. And then here, we'll have them. Again, I'm pressing just G to grab this, by the way. I'm sorry, I'm just skipping all the hotkeys here. G to grab the control rig and I to add a keyframe there. So now we have the character looking to the left, right, looking to the left. And then, if we want to do something like modify the neck, then we can do that as well. Change her angle from one to the other. So here, we'd probably rotate it. No, let's grab it. We'll have her kind of just giving her head back and forth in a sassy sort of fashion there. This is not going to look the best, but there you go. So, there you go. The back and forth sassy head bob. Mm, well, there you go. Anyways, that's using the Rigify rig to modify your character's animations in directly in Blender. And again, it's just that simple one click Rigify under CC Create. So again, right over here or CC Pipeline there under rigging in animation, Rigify right here. And then you can import animations. There's rig controls. There's all sorts of stuff that I don't have time to get into right now. But yeah, Rigify setup right there. Um, yeah, it's really awesome. It saves a ton of time. I really think this is a really excellent plugin that is essential for anyone who uses both iClone and Character Creator or Blender. Yeah, good stuff. So let's go ahead and get to our Q&A then. Hopefully we have some questions to get into, and I'll answer those for you guys right now. So any questions put your questions in the Zoom Q&A panel there, and I will get to those right now. All right, first question from Alberto. How can I use the maps of 3D Scan Store to CC characters? Um, So maps of 3D Scan Store to CT characters, you're gonna have different maps. I'm not sure the workflow there, but generally, if you have a specific map that's made for a specific character, it's not recommended to transfer those material maps to another character unless they're using something like Substance where they'll kind of just automatically conform to the new proportions of the character. Definitely when it comes to faces, you can't really do that with very good accuracy. So I wouldn't recommend that workflow, but yeah, generally when you have a character, you're going to have to customize their skin The skin template I applied earlier was just a general skin template. It doesn't have, custom wrinkles on the eyes or anything like that. It's a very simple one. But yeah, transferring facial materials or even skin maps back from one character to another, you're really going to have to depend on their proportions, and of course, like things like their age and stuff as well. But yeah, that workflow is pretty complex, so I won't really have time to answer that right now. But thanks for the question, Alberto. If anyone wants more, further elaboration on that, I'd be happy to discuss my experiences more. Rodrigo says, "Hi, any updates to the iClone CC tools for UE 5.6?" Good question, Rodrigo. Right now, we are working tirelessly on CC5, so we haven't had much time to get to the UE 5.6 stuff. I think the latest version for Unreal Engine auto setup right now is 5.5. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've used 5.5 in a previous project. So, but 5.6, when it comes out, it'll come out. They don't really give us frequent updates on that, but yeah, it won't be too far in the future. But after CC launch for sure, after Character Creator 5 launch. Okay, question from Victor. Is there a video on how to make wings like Kai did with the tail? Wings. I mean, it's similar workflow. Obviously, with wings, the bone structure is going to be a lot more complicated, which is kind of why I kept it to a simple tail for this demo here. But yeah, because wings are going to have multi bones and multi child bones from the parent bones along the main structure of the wing. If you search on Sketchfab, I'm sure you can find some wing meshes that you can get for free and just add your own bone structure there. When you're extruding the bones, like I showed earlier, when you press E to extrude the bones and create more bones, um, you can do multiple, so you can extrude multiple bones at the same time from the main bone structure. Uh, in terms of a video for that, I don't know if anyone knows a specific video for that. Feel free to put it in the chat to help Victor out, but I don't know a specific uh, tutorial video that I can think of right now that talks about how to create the wing bone structure to add into to create your own accessory there. So thanks for the question, Victor, but I can't really recommend it. If anyone else can, feel free to put it in the chat for Victor there. Anonymous attendee asks, in a screenshot somewhere, I saw the CC interface for facial posing in Blender. How would one access that? Or the CC interface for facial posing in Blender? That would be using Rigify. Um, I think the one you looked at, the one you saw is for Unreal Engine. So Unreal Engine, we have a very similar live Unreal Live Link. Okay, and you can also create your custom rigs in Unreal Engine as well. And those have that special facial interface. I don't know that we have one in Blender. I don't think so. With Data Link. Um, and anyone can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat because I've never used that. But if it is, it'll be somewhere here. But I don't think it would be. I haven't seen it. Um, but definitely we have, I don't want to load up Unreal right now, but we have one in Unreal with the Unreal control rig. But let me think. No, I don't think so. Yeah, but I think Anonymous, what you were looking at was the Unreal Engine control rig, the custom control rig. And for those of you who are, interested in Unreal Engine control rig, we have a control rig. I just Google everything. This probably works. There you go. You can learn more about it here. It's very similar to the Rigify control rig that I just showed right now. I'll throw this in the chat for you guys, so you can just Google that yourself. Yeah, I think Drake Burris here mentioning it might be probably Yui. Okay. Onkagalete, Onkagaletse. Cool name. For some reason, the shared blender window seems a bit jerky. Is it smooth on your side? The shared blender window. It might just be. I did press optimize for video on my Zoom sharing, but sometimes it can still be a little bit jerky. My internet should be fine, but it's probably it could be on either way. I can't really give you a solid answer on that, but yeah, I think you're talking about accessing the Blender tools window here by pressing the N hotkey. Oops, this one here might be a bit jerky sometimes, going back and forth. So apologies for that if it's on my side. Okay, anonymous attendee, is it possible to import a character into an existing Blender scene, or would you save the character as its own Blender file and then import it? Oh yeah, you can definitely import it into an existing Blender scene. That's one of the workflows I often use in Unreal Engine, to be honest. I'll have an Unreal Engine scene set up and I'll just bring my iClone character in there and I'll do the editing, using Live Link. I'll do the editing in iClone when it's interacting with my Unreal characters. And I find that to be my preferred workflow. But again, yeah, it's no problem. It really depends on your preference. But yeah, you can bring it into an existing Blender scene and you can even add your iClone scene into your Blender scene. So if you have a specific small part of your iClone scene that you want to import and save into your Blender scene, you can do that as well. I've done that in the past. So, okay. Question from Cooch. Cooch Kana. Can I zip export a character I made? Yes. Generally, I mean, it doesn't make much of a difference if you zip the character from an FBX file, unless it's like a really complex character. Um, but yeah, of course you can zip characters to make the file, excuse me, make the file sizes slightly smaller. If I can talk properly. Um, okay, thanks for the question though. Next one here is from Onkagaletesi again. Hopefully I'm getting that right, at least close. Is the workflow a round trip or just send to Blender? Yeah, you can send back from Blender to iClone as well. Like I showed you the Go CC feature in Blender there. Oops, let's click on this here. Yeah, so export accessory, export replace mesh. You can do all sorts of exporting from here. There's various different ways you can do it. Um, when it comes to CC link, yeah, you can go back and forth as well. So here's your pose, your sequence, and all that stuff. You can click on that stuff as well. Um, the motion sets here, I don't think you can load the motion sets directly into iClone, send them back. But again, when you do that, just click on the sequence. You can see when I mouse over it, it says send the animation on the character to CC4 or iClone 8 as a live sequence. So that's what happens when you send the sequence to the kit to back and forth. So there's the pose and there's the sequence there. All right, hopefully that helps out with that question. And you know what? I can even just show you guys. There's a few other lots of tutorials on this whole workflow here that I've done previously in our free online tutorials. Probably, oh, I'd say maybe character creator. Take my chat window out of the way here. Blender. Where's the pipeline? 3D scan pipeline? Nope. I would say maybe iClone has better ones. I'm not sure where they're classified under iClone or character creator. Do, 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 do. Import, export, and render. Pipelines, plugins, and render here. Yeah. So if you want to learn more about Blender, there's a Blender here under iClone/pipelines. Yeah, so you can see here, here's the auto setup. And the Rigify stuff I showed earlier about modifying the animation in Blender Rigify, that's this tutorial here. This is the one getting started with data link. So data link is what we explored today. This tutorial will show you all of that. And this one's a really good one to check out. I was pretty happy with this one. Transferring a complete scene. So I didn't do any of the lighting transfer or any of the syncing back and forth. Just couldn't find the time for that. But this tutorial will get you through all of that stuff here. Transfer scene in crowd with Blender and data link. So this takes a bunch of characters animated with a scene and with lighting from iClone into Blender. That's a really good one to check out. And this is importing the animations. So this is one kind of section of our Revision courses page that you'll want to check out. I'll throw this in the chat for everyone here. All right. Cool. And question from Alvin. Hi, Alvin. So when is Revision going to announce iClone 9 and will it be subscription based? iClone 9 is still a ways away. Hopefully not subscription based. I don't think so. Hasn't been talk about it yet, but yeah, that's one of our claims to fame is that we're one of the last holdouts of non-subscription based purchasing. So you can purchase all of our software with no subscription required. There are certain other services that require subscriptions, so slowly kind of moving into that a little bit to whoever's delight or whoever's disappointment. But yeah, I'm not sure. It's still a ways off, like more than a year. So Colin asks, is there a setting in Character Creator 4 that keeps clothing from conforming to the sternum in both male and female characters? I have a hard time stretching the fabric like it appears in real life. So to keep it from conforming to the sternum, oh, okay. So yeah, it doesn't like kind of maybe into the if there's a crevice in the chest area, so it conforms into that crevice as opposed to stretching across. Is there a setting? Oh man, manual sculpting, to be honest. There's nothing specifically that I can think of for that specific part that you can click on it and says, do not conform to sternum. I don't think there's a setting for that, unfortunately, Colin. But good question. I think it's a case of manual modification that you need to do there. So thanks for the question though. One from anonymous attendee. Are you the owner of Reallusion Company? It's probably one of the funniest questions I've gotten. No, I'm not. I'm not the owner of Reallusion Company. There's a few other owners, not me though. I've been here for since dinosaurs roamed the earth though, so it's been a while. Um, so a question from Mark. Mark, I'm working on a scene where a prop is to the right hand. When parented to the right hand but is dropped to the ground, if I unlink it, um, the drop it moves. Okay, so this is a good question, Mark. When you unlink an object from your character's hand, it kind of just drops to the ground or drops to maybe the scene root is what I'm thinking. Um, what you have to do is make sure I'm in iClone right now, so I can show you something called pivot points. Okay, so if we look at this tail, for example, and I go to modify, this is just a quick, I'll show you this really quickly here. You can go down to pivots right here, this pivot section, and you can see if I press like the W hotkey, for example, this is going to be the pivot point for my object right here. All right. You always want the pivot point to be on the object. In the case of a tail, you generally want it to be at the base of the tail, right? So you can like rotate it like this. That makes sense, right? I mean, you wouldn't want it if I clicked here, for example, it's going to rotate it like this. So in cases like that where you sometimes have and you can do this manually as well. There we go. In cases like that where you sometimes have you unlink objects and they just kind of snap to a different position, there's two main things that could be. One of the main things that I would first check out is the pivot points here. Make sure that it's on your mesh. The pivot point of your character is actually on your mesh. And the next thing to look at would be make sure that there's no transform keyframes. So if I select my tail right here, um, select the tail, right? Okay, so you'll see that there's a transform track right here. This one right here. You can move the tail like to like here and here. And you see when I do that, it adds a keyframe in the transform track there. Make sure that there's no, stray transform keyframes in the track, the transform track for your object, whatever it is. Those would be my two first troubleshooting tips. Unfortunately, without seeing it, I wouldn't be able to give you much more than that. So, but yeah, those are the things I would check out first, Mark. But thanks for the question. Question from Cooch again. How do you export a character for publishing on the store? Um, So we do have a guide, I believe, a tutorial guide that I completed a couple months ago for how to publish in the store. Let me think where it would be. I think there's a specific one for content management or Actor Core. You can publish stuff. Maybe content management, Smart Gallery. I think you can publish from the Smart Content Manager now. Content developer. Here you go. So if you're a content developer, this is how you kind of set up, publish your stuff in the content store. So thanks for that, Cooch. I'll throw this in the chat for you guys as well. And okay. Cooch. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question there. If anyone's interested in publishing in the content store, check out these tutorials here on this topic. We'll go to the next one from Daniel. Can you create decals or decals, as they call them in the US, in Blender like a scar or stitches and send them to CC? Yeah, absolutely you can do that. Although, I mean, maybe something like Substance or 3D Paint might be a little bit better than Blender for that. But again, if you often use Blender as that kind of tool, you can certainly do that. Send the materials back and forth. The way that I would do that, Daniel, is probably export. First, I would export my texture from iClone or Character Creator, probably. I would export that texture or material to Blender, and then I would edit it in Blender, and then I would send it back. Excuse me. Yeah, that'd probably be the workflow I'd use there, but you can certainly do that. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Colin. Okay, anonymous attendee. When you sculpted the character earlier, it created the new appearance slider you could move into and out of. Did that only include the changes you made? Like if you made a completely custom sculpt, can you select any default character and apply it to just one of your custom sculpts to any character? So, good question, and this confuses some people sometimes. What you generally want to do is you want to start with this character creator mesh. All right. You don't want to have a custom mesh because when you bring it into character creators, it's not going to recognize it. And you're not going to be able to utilize the blend shapes that all character creator characters include. You know, all the facial blend shapes I showed you earlier for the facial animation and stuff. It's not going to include that unless you want to import in your custom ones. Um, so, we do offer all these bases in Character Creator, and they're royalty-free bases. So you can just use them anytime under Actor, under Characters. Okay. So all these bases, you can go ahead and use them. No problem. CC47, CC47, CC4 Kevin, and the two neutral characters, all these neutral base characters, those are there for your use. And you can start with those bases because they contain a whole bunch of facial blend shapes. They contain, custom bones, optimized rigs, optimized meshes. Um, and you can use those to your own content. So I recommend just using our meshes, our base meshes. And again, there's the free ones as well. I'll probably search like free Reallusion. Whoops. Gosh, this keyboard's annoying. Vision character meshes, maybe. Yeah, these ones, free 3D rig models, human models. So these ones here, you can download these all for free. Okay, these are all the base models, and you can download them in FBX format. So these are the ones I just showed you. They're in this, oops, just hit my mic there. They're the same characters that are in that folder I just showed you, but you can just download them in FBX format or whatever here. And again, these are free, royalty free. So take it right there. I'll throw it in the chat. Um, can I completely change the base and apply the same sculpt to different ones? Oh, can you apply that same sculpt to a different character? Yeah, for sure. So once you have that sculpt, if you did that sculpt using a CC4 base like I did, so I used the Toon base, you can apply it to another character, no problem. It can be like a man, it can be a woman. It might look weird because it's not meant for that character, but you can certainly apply that morph to another character. Yeah. All right. Hope that answers your question there. Hafiz says, you and your team are nice. Awesome. Thanks, Hafiz. You're a nice guy too. All right, I think we're at the end of our Q&A there, so we have no more questions left. I'll leave you guys with a couple things. Make sure to fill out that survey that we're going to send out to you. Get your 10% discount for the content store. Again, you can always go through the YouTube channel and review this at any time as well. And hopefully, yeah, we're going to be launching CC5 really soon here. So make sure you check back. Make sure this CC5 deal where you spend $3.99 in content and you get CC5 for free. That's only going on for a couple more days, 3 more days, I think. So yeah, take advantage of that. I mean, I know it's $3.99, but you're going to get content and CC5 as well as just CC5 or just content later on after that deal expires. So it's a really good promotion. A few more days left. Yeah, but make sure you take advantage of that if you don't have either or. Um, yeah, but again, lovely having everyone here. Thanks so much for joining everyone, and we will see you. There's a webinar next week for Cartoon Animator. If you want to join that, feel free. And yeah, lovely to have you guys all here. So good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And we'll see you on the flip side. Thanks, guys.